Hello everyone and welcome to another video, and welcome to Mr. Harry Palmer. Hello. Our special guest and pretty terrible full distance triathlete, to be perfectly honest. Funnily enough, he is a professional 70.3 triathlete, but I have a better full distance time than he does, as he has done zero.
Yeah, pretty embarrassing. Thanks for reminding me.
But we're very quickly going to realise that that will stack up quite aggressively in his favour. The whole pro thing does make him a significantly superior triathlete to my meatheady self. Nonetheless, we are here today to go through a full but slightly less full than originally planned day of training, as yesterday's video went like this. I've done one 100 metre max effort in my life. It was 4 weeks ago. It was 12:3, so I don't really know what to expect here. Let's find out.
And I last did one maybe on sports day in year 6, and that was fucking ages ago.
Alright.
3, 2, 1, go! Oh my god!
Oh, he's...
Hang on.
You pulled something?
I might have torn my hammy.
Surely not. Flew off though.
But you were fucking rapid!
You alright?
Hope so.
Should we try that again? Yeah, it's actually not that good, to be honest. I think if I'm going to put a guess out, it's probably strain or grade 1, but I can cycle on it, I can't run on it, so what was going to be a swim, bike and run today is just going to be a swim, bike and gym. So it's kind of a triathlon in some ways if we were wanting to really market it in a specific direction, or just do what CrossFit or functional fitness does and just chuck 3 things together and call it a triathlon. If you feel attacked, you probably should. Nonetheless, we are at Glidehouse Reservoir, which has featured quite recently on my channel. This video here takes you through all the elements of winter swimming. Funnily enough, whilst it is April, it does look a bit sunnier, there's less snow kicking around, the water temperature still is around 7 degrees Celsius, which is almightily cold, and the coldest you have ever swam in.
Yeah, the coldest I've been in is probably 8 and a bit, so this will not be enjoyable.
Plan is probably going to do about 1.5k, just get used to it because it will be a bit flappy and cold and we're not going to have a good time. So we're going to get today's morning swim done, just go out to the island and round and back. Then we're going to jump on the bikes here once we've warmed up a little bit and head out towards the Granites, which is sort of north of the Scottish borders. Decent hill. We're going to see how we stack up against one another on a hill, because he is about 20 kilos lighter than I am and a significantly better triathlete. Key point there. We are here. Before we go any further, do make sure to like the video, comment down below, and that you have already subscribed, as we are about to get very cold. So Harry, any final thoughts or feelings before we get in?
No, I'm just nervous, not gonna lie. I'm very nervous.
3, 2, actually I was going to do a like swimmy front crawly thing, but we'll probably do some stuff down on the shore. So if I had some sand, I'd chuck it at you. 3, 2, 1, go. Worth mentioning that this is April and there is snow on the hills, so all Scottish stereotypes are fully on the table today. Air temperature's about 5, which is not terrible, but it is terrible for April. There we go. Slurring my words already, it's that cold. It's not that bad. If I was very dramatic on YouTube, I could probably get away with that, but I'm not going to. As you can see, this is looking fantastic. Very, very inviting. So the plan is basically going to be out and round the island, which works out at about 12:50, so we might just go a bit further out and then loop back round. But the main thing is just going to be seeing how Harry gets on with the cold. How
enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. It's invigorating. The only thing better than this setting and this weather is this wetsuit, because it's from Who. There's a link in the description you can use, by the way. All jokes aside, fantastic kit, and I will be in head to toe stuff, and I'm sure Harry's very jealous. There is a layer of pressure on me here as this is home turf and I swim in here all the time, but I'm not going to pretend that I don't also get cold. So whilst I could stand here and laugh at how uncomfortable and nervous Harry is about the cold, I too fall into that category, so we're probably both going to suffer. It's hitting my stomach and other regions now.
Ooh.
Feeling it?
Oh, not a fan. Oh, wow.
Ooh. Yep. Okay, I'm nipple deep, which is time to go in swimming language. Oh no, okay.
Oh god. Okay. Am I just...
I think you've just got to go, yeah.
Alright, here we go. Wow.
That was brave.
Wow. Yes, it's cold.
How's your face?
It feels alright. I think maybe after 100 meters it will start getting numb and I will lose the will to live.
Make that two of us. Right, off you go, I will follow.
Right, let's go.
Just standing on shore waiting for Harry to come back in because I'm so much faster than him in the water. I'm just kidding. When he actually turned it on, he just disappeared. Beautiful stride as well. He's getting some photos whilst he has access to this beautiful Scottish scenery that you can't really get anywhere else out in the UK because it's always busier. Well, in my experience anyway. Lake District, Snowdon, South Coast. There's just so much more population that you don't often get peaceful settings like this. That was a lovely swim, about 1,500 metres worth. It did get cold, it really did drop off a little bit out there, but for me, main thing at the moment is just really building volume from the 1K a week I've been doing over winter. The cold, whilst it doesn't affect me like it does if it's brand new, it still does like stop you beyond a certain point getting into a steady rhythm. So now that it's starting to slowly warm up a little bit, I'm going to take some of my volume in the pool out onto the open water, or into the open water rather. Just get used to that breathing, get used to that sighting, get used to the stroke in the water, and start building towards the CELTMAN on the 18th of June. Let's see what Harry has to say.
So that was cold. It's good 1,500 metres. That was probably the coldest water I've ever been in. My face was pretty much ready to fall off, so I'm glad we only did that much.
Neither of our breaths settled at all.
No.
We were stopping to sort of check in on each other a little bit, but it's the first time in a while I've not got into a rhythm at all, so just goes to show, be careful with cold water swimming.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of piss takery in this video, but the solid point there is...
It is actually cold.
Yeah,
We're not taking
it's actually cold, so whilst we do have this mostly to ourselves, our breath didn't really settle there, and that's two of us that spend a lot of time in open water. I spend a lot of time in cold water up here because it's always cold in Scotland. Ha 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 ha. Got a South Coast gentleman here, so they've already said that. But Harry's done zero full distance triathlon, so it answers that.
Oh god, here we go.
It does just mean like couldn't get into a rhythm really. But yeah, good fun.
Yeah.
Onto the bike now as the sun starts to come out.
And making the most of this amazing location. I don't think we have anywhere quite like this in the southwest, do we? So this is you just got to make the most of it. It's absolutely lovely. So I'm looking forward to the bike.
Me too.
How are we feeling?
It's cold. I'm not gonna lie, it's very cold. I thought it was a good idea to pack light, but I just packed a tri-suit. Don't have a dry pair of bib shorts or jersey or another tri-suit, so yeah, we're just gonna have to ride hard and warm up.
To echo what Harry said, again, I should be putting on a brave face as this is home turf for me and I do this all the time. I'm also very cold. I did not bring a towel. I'm in a tri-suit and I'm regretting most of my decisions today thus far. It is chilly out. I actually, funnily enough, brought a leg warmer for my arm, and as I was putting on said leg warmer, stretching it onto my arm and punched myself in the nose. So to say that things are not going swimmingly would be ironic, as we just went swimming. But also, yeah, don't punch yourself in the nose. But we're going to get moving. We're going to redline a little bit just to get warm. Then we're going to talk through a few of the differences in terms of how we put our training together, given that Harry's obviously solely triathlon and that I'm working triathlon in amongst a whole load of other disciplines. And then the practical considerations alongside just a 90-kilometre give or take ride up into the granites and the borders, and then wherever we can find our way back down. We're going to get moving because it is cold. I'm soaking, and I think I need my voice back to be able to give you that information I was just talking about. So, goodbye. Oh, Campbell lost his toes there.
Oh, that's cold. It is, isn't it? Oh, wow.
So we are going to talk through a few of the differences in terms of my training as a hybrid athlete versus the professional triathlete to my right. So what I thought we'd do is break down what a typical training week looks, just so we can show where the key differences are, because a lot of the mistakes that people make when working in strength training alongside endurance training, or one of the things that might put them off getting into triathlon, is the fear of losing strength. So I'll break down my week, if you break down yours, and we go from there.
Yeah, let's do it.
So why didn't you kick things off with, well, why didn't you break down what your training week looks like at the moment? I know you've just done a video on your sort of biggest training week of this block, so why don't you just break that down?
Yeah, so one of the biggest training weeks that I've done, and what I'm trying to do really is to actually get used to being a bit of a bigger volume athlete. So generally I try and do about 25 to 30 hours of training in a week, and the way that looks is split up with 5 swim sessions, 6 bike sessions, and 6 run sessions, and then I'll also include 4 gym sessions, but my gym sessions are very different to the gym sessions that you'll be doing, and that will be a range of high intensity specific sessions, some more kind of prolonged race effort 7.3 stuff, and then also a lot of added volume base aerobic stuff, working on my aerobic capacity, and I'm finding that's really helping me at the minute. And then anything in the gym is more sort of functional movements really to complement that.
It's like plyometrics and
yeah, absolutely. Nothing that's going to sort of impede my other training. It's more just stuff to really kind of help actually supplement it, if that makes sense.
So have you been using any sort of compound lifting at all, or has it all been resistance work?
Much. Yeah, okay. Mostly resistant work, and just focusing on like specific movements that are gonna help and transfer over to sort of running and cycling and swimming.
Cool. So for comparison, a lot of the sort of stimulus and adaptation aims are very similar, but the challenge I've got is that I've got to work in the demands from other energy systems and other intensity demands.
Yeah.
Which means that I can't just get away with doing as much volume as I would were I just a endurance athlete. So on a Monday I'm trying to work in my heavy lower body day, which is heavy squats, heavy deadlifts. At the moment it's been working up to the Denny Stone top weight, and then that's normally in the morning, and then in the evening at the moment I'm doing a high intensity big gear turbo session.
Yeah.
Tuesday morning for me is normally my heavy upper body day. In the PM I've got my swim intervals in the pool. Then Wednesday morning is sort of moderate intensity, moderate volume turbo. The evenings are sort of sub-threshold tempo run sort of thing.
Yeah.
Thursday morning volume swim and full body session in the evening in the gym again.
Cool.
And that tends to be assistance work for my top compound lifts. Friday is then some sort of strength endurance or pre-fatigue session ahead of my big brick workout on Saturdays, which at the moment is about 3 or 4 hours on the bike into an hour or so on my feet.
Yeah.
That has obviously changed as of yesterday, as I'm not going to be running for a little while, it seems. But if I was to just rely on volume, then I would burn out quite quickly, because the mistake a lot of people make is putting a Ironman program alongside a strength program, and then all of a sudden when they're burnt out, they aren't piecing together the logic that that's 200% of a human's capacity in terms of how the program was intended to be run. So
That's definitely what I would add as well, is like, you can't really focus optimally on both, can you?
No, and that's something I'm really keen to get across is, whilst yes, I'm on a tri bike, whilst yes, I'm in tri kit, whilst yes, I've done a variety of events, I'm by no means a top tier triathlete in any sense. I do the lifting and the tri stuff and the ultra running because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Not because I'm trying to excel at anything in particular. But I think that's something that puts a lot of people off, is they think there's a minimum entry standard to be able to even do these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not lifting to make me a better triathlete. I'm not doing triathlon to make me a better lifter.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I enjoy it, and I can still adapt and improve in both to a decent level, but I'm doing the things that I enjoy, and that's ultimately why we should all be training in the first place, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that's bang on. I think a lot of people just get caught up with trying to do too much of everything and be the best at everything, and it's like, actually, that's not really possible, is it?
Correct. One other thing to mention is that obviously comparison here is kind of irrelevant beyond the individual context of myself and Harry. Harry's a pro triathlete, I'm a very confused person who does a lot of things, it seems. But the main point is, we've worked up to these volumes, we've figured out these intensities, we've worked with coaches directly to get here.
Yeah.
So this isn't something that you should mimic, it's something you should take on board to then consider within the context of your own individuality and training, and then work from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about figuring out what works best for you. You know, high volume might work well for you, but it might not. And so a bit of trial and error, but definitely not copying other people, because comparison is the thief of all joy. Is that not something people
That
say?
is something somebody said one time, yeah.
There's a quote there somewhere.
I see it on Instagram posts quite a lot of the time. One other thing I'm going to cover quickly is the practical considerations from my point of view versus the sort of practical considerations from a regular, higher performing triathlete point of view. So there are a number of things that I need to consider that I wouldn't if I was just approaching triathlon as a lighter, non-lifty bloke. Weird way of putting it, but you know what I mean. So body mass is obviously something to consider. I'm heavier because I want to keep on some mass to improve my overall strength. That does entail a bit of a drop off in terms of watts versus incline. The drop off is pretty severe, it's quite upsetting really, which means that the hillier the course, the worse I'm going to perform relative to my output. So that's something that I just need to work with. Yes, I could get considerably lighter and improve my performance, but there is diminishing returns to my strength beyond a certain point. So it's a case of what am I willing to sacrifice, where do I want to sit, and where is the focus for me.
Yeah.
Beyond that, the calorie expenditure from endurance events means that due to my heat dissipation and calorie usage for my body, I'm going to have to take on about 0.75 grams of carbs per kilo body weight pretty consistently throughout a race, throughout training.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that's quite a lot of food to take on. If I was 20 kilos lighter, it'd make life a lot easier.
Yes.
So that means the GI considerations are all even higher.
Yeah.
And I need to do a bit more work to get that right for me.
Yeah.
There's the functional tightness that comes from lifting regularly, which means I'm going to have DOMs, I'm going to be sort of hunched over. My position will probably never be as good as Harry's because I've got tightness off my back, I've got more muscle mass to consider.
Yeah.
By no means a huge amount of muscle mass, but enough for it to make a difference where it's a bit of a limiting factor. And again, this just comes back to the fact that whilst the general consensus on a lot of this information might be online for triathletes, for cyclists, for endurance athletes, it doesn't mean that rules you out if you fall into a similar category to myself.
Yeah.
It just means there's a few considerations for you to get into the sport, whether it's triathlon, whether it's ultra running. All of these sports have their own subcategories, their subcultures, which tell you that you need to do X, Y, and Z to take part. But in reality, you can do whatever you want. You just need to consider the practical elements and go from there.
Yeah, and doing what's best for you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Anything to add?
No, other than I'm still cold.
Okay, so job done. 1500 metre swim in Gladhouse Reservoir. Chilly, invigorating, bit muddy under feet. And I got dropped really hard in the water by somebody much better at swimming than me, which is always fun. Into 90 kilometres or so, 2 hours 45 of work. Basically the route out towards Innerleithen that I normally go on. Fair amounts of hills, some short, sharp bursts.
Yeah, there was some quite nice little climbs in there, and some of the road surfaces were questionable, but
that's Scotland, baby.
Yeah.
It was funny actually because at the Outlaw, which you do a lot with the guys there.
Yeah.
When I did the Outlaw last year, I heard people in transition at the end being like, "Oh, I can't believe how bad those side winds were, and the roads were terrible." And I was there like, I should try north of the border.
compared to this, those road surfaces are bliss.
This was we did have some specifically particularly bad parts there. Anyway, 90 kilometres done, decent day's training. We are going to sack off the gym session that we had planned because we're short for time. These guys need to catch a flight and we need to get bikes clean because it was a bit muddier in the end than we expected. We got snowed on. That's worth a like and a subscribe. Am I right? Agreed. Glad you agree. Thank you very much. We're going to get these cleaned. We're going to get these guys to the airport, and we are going to probably get a whole load more videos like this done. This was not plan A, as the slight complication, shall we say, with my hamstring, I'm going to call it a complication as it is yet undiagnosed, put a bit of a spanner in the works. Yesterday's plan A did not go to plan, recalibrated a little bit of a contingency today, but we've had a good day's training, haven't we? So
Yeah, it's been very good.
what do you think of the training environment around here?
I actually love it.
It's
I think
good, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's good.
I really enjoy it. That kind of like wilderness factor to it, and it's the roads are very quiet. There's
Yeah.
no one about, which I'm not used to because I've been doing a lot of training in Bath and in cities, and it's not fun. So
It's just much busier, isn't it? It's densely populated.
Yeah.
Although somebody did pull out in front of me at a roundabout, and
Yeah.
had I not had disc brakes,
I kind of wish I was filming.
yeah. Mind you, if we'd crashed and you'd been filming, we would have been the losers
Yeah.
on that dash cam lawsuit, I think. Anyway, I know what you're thinking, Fergus, your jersey's too small. I'm glad we boxed that off, but it's the only one that I could find today before I went out of the house. And we're going to call things there. We're going to get the bikes cleaned, we're going to get these guys to the airport. You're going to like, comment and subscribe to the video, and we are going to see you next time. Harry's going to say goodbye.
Goodbye.